Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee and Conversations with the one and only J-Man. Your morning will never be the same. Here we go.
Now we are not afraid, although we know there's much to fear. We were moving mountains long before we knew we could. Oh, yes, there can be miracles when you believe, though hope is frail, it's hard to kill. Who knows what miracles you can achieve when you believe? Somehow you will when you believe. In this time of fear, when prayer so often proves in vain, hope seems like the summer birds too swiftly flown away. Yet now I'm standing here, my heart's so full I can't explain, seeking faith and speaking words I never thought I'd say. There can be miracles when you believe. When you believe. Oh, hope is frail, it's hard to get. Who knows what miracles you can achieve when you believe? Somehow you will. You will when you believe. They don't always happen when you ask, and it's easy to give in to your fear. But when you're blinded by your pain, can't see your way clear through the rain, small but still resilient voice says hope is very near. Just believe.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. You're listening to Coffee and Conversation with your boy J Mad on Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and other platforms that we're on. Even Alexa, that's right, Alexa can make it do what it do. Let me say good morning to Yogi. Good morning. Good to have you on the show this morning. Good morning, Tony, Dr. Tony. Good morning, dear. Thank you so much for being on. And those that are listening that are not in the chat room, good morning to you as well. To Winship, Emory Winship Cancer Center. Good morning to you all, that Nurse Rachel, Dr. Washington, and all of the other nurses and doctors out there. Good morning to you all. To my Winship Warriors. What's going on, Winship Warriors? Good to have you on as well. I want you all to, this morning, I really want you all to listen to something. And it starts out, it helps us. This particular audio, as I woke up this morning, it was the first thing I listened to this morning, and it motivates us into having a alliance mentality. Alliance mentality. If we want things in life, there are things that we ourselves have to do. We can't sit and expect a better tomorrow to just land in our lap. We can't sit, wait, and expect for a better job. We can't sit, wait, and on a better health, wait on better health. We can't sit and wait on our relationship to be better, and it doesn't matter what relationship. That there are some things you have to do. This audio that I'm going to show you, or allow you all to listen to, it opens up talking about choices. I've often said to people in different arenas that the biggest blessing and the greatest curse that we have is choices. It's the biggest blessing, but it also can be the biggest curse. It is choices that allow us to maneuver into our directions. They're choices we have to make. I want you all to listen to this, and I'll be back and go even further in my conversation today. You're listening to Coffee and Conversation with your boy J Mad on Spreaker.com.
If there was one gift our Creator has given us, what is it? What is the one power that you have right now in this moment that can change everything? This one singular individual power that can change anything in our life, regardless of what's happened to us. And I know you know the answer. The answer is the power of choice. The one thing we have in this world is we can't control the events, but we can choose what to focus on, we can choose what things mean, and we can choose what to do.
An enterprising person is one who sees opportunity in all areas of life. To consistently take advantage of the opportunity that you've created, to be aware, to face life with your eyes and ears open to the possibilities that may be just around the corner.
Your attitude can have a greater impact on your success than your IQ. You can be extremely talented, have incredible potential, but if you don't have the right attitude, it will keep you from rising higher. And we spend all kinds of time and money making sure the outside looks good. Eating right, working out, and that's all fine. But too often, we're not spending any time on the inside.
There are only 86,400 seconds in a day. And you gotta not only operate in them, you gotta do it quick. You gotta do it fast. You gotta do it in a hurry. Why? Because there's somebody else who's on the same track you are. Somebody else, they're on the same path that you are. It's somebody else just like you trying to do it. And sometimes they're working just as hard as you're working. They're putting in just as much sweat, just as much tears, just as much blood. But you just gotta do it what? You gotta do it faster than they do it. You gotta do it quicker than they do it. Are you listening to what I'm saying?
If you have a scarcity mindset and you just have your hand closed and you're trying to hold on to what you got because it's the only thing that you got and you don't want anyone else to have it, he said every time an opportunity comes by that closed hand, you miss the opportunity because you're holding on to what you have that's so important that you're not willing to let go and see something that could be bigger or better. And we just need to be open-handed.
A lot of us never accomplish our mission because we will not be honest about our motives. So we'll say what we think we should want. And that's why we never get anywhere in prayer and why we never get anywhere in self-awareness.
Since we cannot change the circumstances, but we can change ourselves. We can change what we do. What you have at the moment, you've attracted by the person you've become. If you will change, everything will change for you. You don't have to change what's outside. All you've got to change is what's inside. To have more, you simply have to become more. And then he said, don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. Don't wish for less problems, wish for more skills. Start working on yourself, making these personal changes, and he said it'll all change for you.
How to live a good life. And that's where I want to start. And it'd be really interesting to hear your definition of like what kind of life and way of thinking should we be aiming for?
Yeah, well, it's a hard question because my notion of human well-being is really open-ended. I don't think we understand what the horizon is, if in fact there is one, for kind of ultimate flourishing of conscious minds. We have a pretty good sense of what we don't want and are right not to want. We don't want to be terrorized and depressed and finding ourselves constantly in conflict with strangers, finding our aims frustrated. The generic situation we want to find ourselves in more and more is to effortlessly cooperate with creative and happy strangers, right? There's 7 billion of us. We need institutions and laws and norms and ways of thinking that take the friction out of pleasurable and non-paranoid interaction with strangers. It's not just about having 5 or so close friends who have your back, right? Clearly we're all on the same team on some basic level. And if we can't figure out how to build a civilization where everyone thrives to some degree, we'll have the world we currently have until it becomes unsustainable. Because we're in a situation now where I think it's reasonable to worry that our default state of partisanship and tribalism and rational fear of the incompatible aims of other groups and other people is unsustainable in the presence of more and more destructive technology. I think we have to get our act together psychologically and socially in a way that we haven't yet.
All right, then talk to me about weakness. One of the things that I found so extraordinary about your story and how you got started with Michael Jordan is that you wrote to every player on the Chicago Bulls except Michael Jordan saying, hey, I could train you, but only Michael reached back out. Like, that to me is such a signal to what greatness is. Why, when he was already on the path to being one of the greatest players in the NBA, why do you think it was him that reached out?
Well, you just brought up the weakness point. He recognized he had a weakness. Not a flaw, he had a weakness. And he said, I must figure out how to make this weakness my strength. Now, what a lot of individuals do is they'll take their weakness and make it into their strengths, but they stop working on their strengths and they don't advance all of those things. That's a very key component there. Recognize your weakness. Recognize what you're not good at, what you're not talented at. Do you have the ability to raise that level? And there's some things most people just don't. A lot of the weaknesses you can work on, but there's some weaknesses that are just your weaknesses. Now, how do you work with those things? You find individuals around you who have your weakness is their strength. And now they can carry you or carry the team, carry the staff, whatever you need in order to still get that win. And we're so worried about hiding our weaknesses and denying the weaknesses from ourselves and from other individuals. And a lot of people won't identify them because they get very emotional. When you talk about an individual's weakness and you tell them, there becomes a lot of emotion. First time they do is, that's not my weakness. How dare you say that? They get very defensive. They get very, very defensive. And everyone says in any relationship, whether in business, personal, everybody wants the truth. They'll say, please be honest with me. Well, your weakness, when you tell somebody about their weakness and you're being honest with them, they think you're attacking them. All right. And the reason most people feel like you're attacking them is because the individual that's identifying your weakness has the same weakness as you do. And they don't deal with it, but they want you to deal with it because they're hoping if you deal with it, you can help them. And the best way to turn a weakness into a strength is very simple. Find individuals who your weakness is their strength and find out what they did or how you can associate with that individual.
We suffer on all different levels of suffering. Some people suffer on a high level, some people suffer because is the job going to get done? You have these moments of suffering, no matter if it's 5 minutes of suffering or an hour of suffering or months of suffering. Some people lose a relationship and they suffer for years. And if you can limit the time you suffer, the more you can work on the solutions that better your life.
Life is bounded by mortality, but that doesn't mean that you don't get out there and contend, and you develop by contending, and you minimize the net amount of suffering in the world. And that's something, man, that's something to do.
If you want to be great, the burning sensation is you having to accept that you've picked something up, not as far along in the journey as you want to be, and what you have to learn how to do. If you want to be great, you have to learn to let it burn.
It's an opportunity, and the opportunity is on many levels to rethink your life, to rethink your values, to rethink where you're going, to rethink what your career should be, what your relationship to other people should be. It's a time to reorient yourself to who you are and what you like and what your goals are and what makes you unique. If you take that attitude, then the obstacle is the way. If you have that attitude where obstacles are actually the path forward, nothing's going to stop you. But it's all how you look at things. It's kind of a mental process that you switch to seeing the positive side.
And you have to own all those things that people may have done to you. Now it's yours. You got to own it. It's yours now to fix the problems that people did to you. It makes no sense. It's not fair. I get it. But if you live in that woe is me mentality of guess what? My dad did this to me. My mom did this to me. People who bullied did this to me. You're going to always live right there. You have to figure out ways to move forward because you're not coming back.
And if we conditioned ourselves to believe certain kinds of things, and one of the things that we kind of believe and hang on to and live with is this whole idea that all of the things that happened to me in my past are what are keeping me from doing what I'd like to do today.
You're listening to Coffee and Conversation with your boy J Mad on Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and all the other platforms that we're on. That was a great motivational listening audio that I listened to this morning, and I got a lot out of it. It was talking about a lion's mentality, and it addressed several different areas that we should consider. If you all want that, you can come back later, and it's downloadable on my podcast. You can go back and get that. But it addressed a lot of different things, and I just for for the next 10 minutes, just talk about a couple of them. I started earlier when I introduced the video. I talked about choices. If we're ever going to, and I think everything that he talked about led back to the idea of choices. It led back to the idea of choice. If no matter what we're doing in life, no matter what area we're looking at, no matter what moment we're living in, it all in some way has been or will be affected by choices. Whether you're in a relationship, whether you decide to go to the doctor, whether you decide to take the vaccine or not take the vaccine, and the list goes on and on and on and on about the direction of our life, and it is based on choices. I think many of us minimize our lives because we don't recognize that we are constantly making choices. The simple event of getting up and getting ready to go to work, that is a choice. Because there is another choice. I don't get up and I don't go to work. Well, that leads to down a different path. From my vantage point or from my point of view, I think that choices, and I made this earlier, choices are our greatest gift, and yet it can also be our biggest curse that our Creator has given us. It's about choices. One of the things that, just to shift a little bit, but one of the things that he talked about, or one of the messengers talked about this morning in this clip, they talked about a lot of times we make choices to work on the outside, how we look, what our hair look like, what our makeup look like, what our beard is shaped to be, where and the list goes on, what type of clothes we wear, whether we go to the gym or not go to the gym. We put so much effort into our outer body. But what if we put just as much emphasis on our inner being? What if for a change, the equal amount, because I'm not suggesting that people shouldn't consider their outer body. If you want to wear weave. If you want to do this, do that, because that's your choice. But what if we take an equal amount of time, or we put an equal amount of importance on how we look on the inside? Many people are walking around real sexy right now, but when they open their mouths, it's an ugly thing. It's an ugly sight. If it's just us personally, look in the mirror and see how good you look, but consider yourself. What if what you're really looking at is the inside of you? How would you perceive yourself to be? How would you consider yourself? What would you consider yourself to be? We all have places that we need to be, that we're headed. We have a destination. All of us have a destination. My conversation would be, how will you get there? Will you take the long way around, or will you take care of things that need to be taken care of on the inside of you so that you can get to your point? Get to your destination. A lot of times I believe that we miss opportunities because we have not considered we have not considered the importance of the moment. We miss opportunities because we don't consider the importance of moments. Dr. Tony and I was talking the other day, maybe yesterday, or day before yesterday. I had made a statement, or I came to a realization, because I have a thing that I always talk about: moments, enjoying the moment, living in the moment. this particular conversation helped me realize that not all moments are happy moments. Not all places we are at any given time is going to be happy. Some moments we live in are going to be very uncomfortable. But those moments are just as important as the moments that are happy, that is full of positive energy. How we handle those things. One of the speakers on that audio I played earlier suggested that we don't ask in prayer or whatever, however we meditate or do our thing that we do spiritually. Stop asking to remove the problem. Stop asking for less problems. Ask for more tools. That's how you expand. If you want more from your Creator, you have to understand that He needs more from you. In other words, you're going to have more tools in your repertoire. If you want more, He'll give you more. And not all more is good stuff. Some more is learning how to deal with depression, learning how to deal with a health issue, learning how to deal with a mental issue, learning how to deal with a financial issue. In those moments that things aren't going right, what tools are you using to change it? What are you doing to change your situation? Don't ask. There's an old gospel song. I think it was a gospel song that said, I didn't ask for the mountain to be moved. I need the strength to climb it. I'd rather have the strength to climb the mountain. I know that this test is here. But what am I going to do with the test that's in front of me? What am I going to do with the problem that's in front of me? It's all about making the right choices. All of us have to put ourselves in a position where we recognize our choices in any situation. You have a choice. Which one will you choose today? What option will you choose today? Thank you all so much for hanging out with me this morning. It has been a pleasure, been an honor to be with you all this week on Tuesdays and now Thursday on Coffee and Conversation. I do appreciate you all. Remember, your choices that you make is very important. Your choices that you make is very, very important. Go and have a great week. The rest of your week, enjoy your weekend, and trust your Creator in your movements. I'll talk to you all later. Be good. Be blessed. You've been listening to Coffee and Conversation with your boy J Man.
I've been on the battlefield of life. I've been through it. But I just had to go through that to get to this. I've been knocked out, I've been kicked down, but fate brought me back, and I'm still standing here now. These are beautiful scars that I have on my heart. This is beautiful proof that I've made it this far. Every hurt I've endured, every cut, every bruise, wear it proud like a badge, wear it like a tattoo. These are beautiful scars, yeah, yeah. These are beautiful scars, yeah, yeah. I wouldn't change one single thing, even the bad. 'cause everything that made me break made me who I am. I had some bad falls, but that made me stand tall. I got through the fire, and I'm still standing tall now. These are beautiful scars that I have on my heart, beautiful proof that I made it this far. Every hurt I've endured, every cut, every bruise, I wear it proud like a badge, wear it like a tattoo. These are beautiful scars, yeah. These are beautiful scars, yeah. I'm grateful for each one of them, yeah. I'm who I am because of them, yeah. I'm thankful every day for my scars. Everybody's got scars. They part of what makes you who you are. Stand up and be proud of your scars, yeah, yeah. Those are beautiful scars you have on your heart. That's beautiful proof that you made it this far. Every hurt you've endured, every cut, every bruise, wear like a badge, wear it like a tattoo. These are beautiful scars, yeah, yeah. These are beautiful scars, yeah, yeah. I'm grateful for each one of them. I'm who I am because of them. Stand up and be proud of your scars. Ooh.